Anyone else?
Prabhuji, you also discussed how it is important to be satisfied in voice life. So, a devotee, he must have good relationships with the voice devotees. And you also discussed about the importance of cultivating service attitude and gratitude towards the devotees. And you also talked of humility, Prabhuji.
Yeah, who is speaking? I'm not able to see.
Shlok.
Shlok. Yeah, okay. Yeah, correct. Correct. Okay. Thank you, bro. Okay, let's move ahead. So it's nice to see most of the devotees remember what we discussed in context of application. You can also try to recollect the context, from Shastras. Okay, in what context we discussed. What did the Gita say? And then we discuss this application. Okay. So we'll move ahead. Text 266, right, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So we saw this verse last. Prasade sarva dukkhana hani rasya pradayate prasanna chetasi buddhi paryavatishthate. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. So now we are going to 66. Nasti buddhirayuktasya
नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य
nata yuktasya bhavana
न च युक्तस्य भावना
nata bhavayatah shantir
न च भावयतः शान्तिः
shantasya kutah sukham.
अशान्तस्य कुतो सुखम्.
One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace?
Very clear verse. That so this is similar to one verse which came before, that one cannot control one's mind and senses without fixing them in Krishna. And this is also similar, that if one is not connected to Krishna, then one can neither have transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. Yeah. Like I'll give you simple examples, okay? Like in any household, any general household family affairs, you can see a woman, or sometimes even a grandfather, or anybody actually for that matter. They just keep, uh, you know, speaking. क्या बोलते हैं उसको, मतलब ताने मारना बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में. So what do we say, bro, in English? Anybody knows? ताने. Okay, I don't know actually. Like make comments basically.
Sarcasm sort of, Prabhuji.
Sarcasm sort of. Say that.
Sure.
Yeah, you can say sarcasm actually, yeah. So people keep telling each other. Sometimes even to maid, that lady will keep telling same thing, about same mistake. They will repeat to each other 5, 10 times because of the ego problem. And for a Krishna conscious devotee, he can understand that okay, this is, as the Gita says, this is the conditioning of the person. So I can expect this from him, or her. So let me not touch this person's ego. So this person is also spirit soul, so struggling. So what happens is, without Krishna consciousness, people manufacture ways for disturbing each other. Similarly, you see, if somebody is a boss, like maybe he's the owner of a company, or a hospital, or maybe an educational institution like college or school, and then he or she may treat the employees, because I'm paying salary to them, So they may treat in a very rude way, actually. So many places it happens, even today, unfortunately. So the idea is that, Prabhu, that without Krishna consciousness, even simple things in life, na, like how sometimes a policeman may treat some vendors or some auto wallahs. So why this happens is because people don't have spiritual knowledge about soul. They don't have spiritual knowledge about laws of nature, laws of karma. And they definitely do not have spiritual knowledge about their own identity and about the presence of the Supreme Lord. Then you see students, if you come to the students, so students face, three, four major problems, right? One is the anxiety for their career. So much anxiety. Why? Because they do not have any conception of depending on the Supreme. Like you see a kid sleeps very peacefully, you know, and keeps playing here and there. There's no fear or anxiety in a kid's life. Why? Because he or she has this attitude of full dependence on mother and father. So the otherwise little Jiva also does not have that kind of attitude of dependence. So there is a lot of anxiety. I mean, I am speaking this, but I also have anxiety, even though in the service of the Lord. So I don't know whether that is coming out of service attitude or how much of it is coming out of not having full faith in dependence on the Lord. So So students struggle for their career in anxiety. Another thing students struggle for heavily is lusty desires. And that is also because of bodily conception of life. Another thing students really struggle for is like going into drugs or wrong uh, engagements. Why? Because they do not have the right engagements. They do not have the right knowledge. So you can see most of the problems, like you see society now, what problems society is facing, like this neat paper thing now. So this is out of extreme greed, extreme selfishness, right? And even the people who are doing this protest and all are for actually for mainly for political reasons. So you see all this corruption and rapes or egoistic selfishness. All these things are springing from lack of spiritual wisdom, lack of connection to Krishna. It's a one-shot solution actually for this thing. You know. Then another problem is lack of integrity. Today there is widespread cheating actually. What people say, what they mean, and what they do is entirely different. So that's what the Bhagavad Gita is telling here. Right? Without connecting with Krishna, without going spiritual, it is very difficult to even be peaceful in this world. So at least as devotees, we should be very clear with this concept. So that is what we were discussing last time also, that if we want to control our mind and senses, we have to engage them positively. So if there is no peace only, how can there be happiness? Prabhupada, unless one is in Krishna consciousness, there is no possibility of peace. So it is confirmed in the 5th chapter. You know this verse, right? Peace formula. That when one understands that Krishna is the only enjoyer of all the good results of sacrifice and penance, that he is the proprietor of all universal manifestations, and that he is the real friend of all living entities, then only can one have real peace. See, just by knowing these three, Bhogeshwara Vasaktanam, Tayaparata Chetasa. Otherwise, people will be struggling with these attachments to Bhog and Ashwarya. Because when we accept that Krishna is the proprietor, so if Krishna is the real proprietor, then India and Pakistan will not fight over this Kashmir, right? So similarly, now they're fighting for oil. So many countries they're fighting, right? So they will not fight if they understand that Krishna is the proprietor and he is the controller. And most importantly, he is the real friend of all of us. Therefore, if one is not in Krishna mind, there cannot be a final goal for the mind. Yeah. See, such clarity, na, Prabhupada. There is no final goal for the mind. Most of the people, see, you see politicians, even the age of 75, 80, oh, I have to get that chair of CM. So I'll keep doing politics. What nonsense, actually. Similarly, businessmen, instead of offering some seva to Krishna, they'll keep on amassing wealth till the last moment of their life. So, so Prabhupada says, disturbance is due to want of an ultimate goal. And when one is certain that Krishna is the enjoyer, proprietor, and friend of everyone, then one can, with a steady mind, bring about peace. See, what a statement. डिस्टर्बेंस क्यों होता है माइंड में? क्योंकि एक अल्टीमेट गोल है ही नहीं, है ना? क्लैरिटी नहीं है कि लाइफ में सब्सटेंशियल क्या है. पीपल आर थिंकिंग दैट ओ आई विल ओपन अ चेन ऑफ दिस स्टोर और दिस, आई विल ओपन अ, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, यूनिकॉर्न. यूनिकॉर्न, ठीक है. यू, इफ यू डू इट फॉर अ नोबल कॉज, इट्स वेरी गुड. But most of the people, they are simply struggling, bro, in this world. कि ये करना है, वो करना है. I have met even devotees. You know what they say? Some devotees, they say that, especially from UP and Bihar, they will say, Prabhuji, I want to, just serve Krishna only. But I have to show to my village people that I can also clear UPs. So what nonsense. To show to your village people. At least you say, okay, I want to, just like I have this desire. I have to show to village people, you know. So much nonsense going on, in this world. Like, bhai, your village people will not even be impressed. They will only become envious of you. What you will show to them? If you want to show something, try to show to Krishna. Try to impress Krishna. Actually, I told one devotee, better you try to impress a girl and get married to her rather than showing off to your villagers. What you will do? मैंने कहा एटलीस्ट तुमको एक लड़की तो मिलेगी, है ना? कोई अच्छी लड़की देख के उसको पटाने का कोशिश करो. इतने इतना एफर्ट मारोगे यूपीएससी करने के लिए, और होगा कि नहीं होगा पता ही नहीं. 99% aspirants of UPSC don't get into UPSC. Easier to do IIT JEE than to do UPSC. So anyway, so therefore, Prabhupada says one who is engaged without a relationship with Krishna is certainly always in distress and is without peace, however much he may make a show of peace and spiritual advancement in life. क्योंकि कोई एंड ही नहीं है ब्रो सोसाइटी में. Today, how the modern society, there is no end to what people will expect from you. There is absolutely no end. So therefore, Krishna consciousness is a self-manifested peaceful condition, which can be achieved only in relationship with Krishna. Yeah. So ideally, we should be convinced, Prabhu, of all these truths. Okay. So yeah, before we move ahead, any comments or questions on this? It's an important concept. I'm sorry for my throat. Nothing? Okay. Let me move ahead. Indriyanam hi charatam
इन्द्रियाणां हि चरतां
mano vidhiyate
यन्मनोनुविधीयते
tasya harati prajñām
तदस्य हरति प्राज्ञां
वायुर्नावम वामहसि.
वायुर्नावामिवासि. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence.
One of the roaming senses can carry away man's intelligence, which means eyes or ears. Eyes, though, are most dangerous now, because for a man, especially for a man, eyes, and for a woman, ears. See, this love jihad now. So much love jihad happens. How? Because this Muslim men, na, they hunt for Hindu girls. And what is the way they elude them? That especially by talking very sweet things. If you pay notice, if you not pay notice, if you pay attention to young girls, They love it. And then if you talk sweet things to them, my goodness, that's it. They are bold, you know. So, so that's what happens actually with young people. So many of them. Goodness, how? Because of this, so, one roaming sense also, you can carry away a person's intelligence. Similarly, man, people get into so many cheating business proposals. People get into so many cheating things because, you know, one sense also takes their intelligence away. Actually, so many youngsters, Prabhu, they waste so much of their time because of looking at woman's body. So many youngsters. Practically, the greatest challenge for any young boy is his eyes. In fact, I would say more time than, uh, uh, I mean, more than the time which the young boy spends in making his career, he spends in struggling with the distraction he has because of the eyes. How many of you agree with this? Yeah. So see, being a devotee, it's such a relief. At least we know we may struggle with temptation, but at least we know what is to be aspired for, what is not to be aspired. So see, Prabhupada says, unless all of the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, even one of them engaged in sense gratification can deviate the devotee from the path of truth. See, this is exactly what I was sharing in the last session. Unless all of the senses are engaged in the same, this is the meaning. If you want to be saved from sense gratification or sinful life, the only way is engage in the positive uh, activities or engage in the positive goal, the positive mission of life. So, how to save mind from wrong engagement? Just engage it in Krishna consciousness. Take up a service. Take up a purpose for serving Krishna, serving some Vaishnava. Okay, that is my life's purpose, to distribute books or whatever. You know. Then how to save my senses from wrong engagement? Engage them in the service of the Lord. Similarly, intelligence also. Anything actually. Similarly, why, uh, like when one of the classes, Srila Prabhupada was telling that why should a person donate resources or Lakshmi to Krishna's service so that Lakshmi or resources should not engage him in Maya's service. Of course, more important is blessings of Krishna. But the idea is that, like we have talents. If we do not engage our talents in Krishna's service, then we will be bound to engage them somewhere else. If we do not have good friendship with Krishna's devotees, then we'll look for friends outside because we need friends. So Prabhupada gives example of Maharaj AMPrji. All of the senses must be engaged in Krishna consciousness. For that is the correct technique for controlling. Yeah. So people may say so many techniques for controlling the mind. Prabhupada says this is the correct technique. Okay. Tasmadhyasya mahabhaho
तस्मादस्य महाबाहो
Tani sarvasha
निवृत्तानि सर्वशः
Indriyanindriyarthebhyas
इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः
Tasya pradnya pratishtha.
तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता.
Therefore, O mighty armed one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence.
Yeah. Simple, huh? One whose senses are restrained from their object is certainly steady. Okay, Prabhupada. One can curb the forces of sense gratification only by means of Krishna consciousness or engaging all the senses in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Again, the same thing. See how many times he has repeated this in last 10 verses. In different words, but he's repeated the same principle. As enemies are curved by superior force, the senses can similarly be curved. not by any human endeavor, but only by keeping them engaged in the service of the Lord. One who has understood this, that only by Krishna consciousness is one really established in intelligence, and that one should practice this art under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, called sadhaka. Wow. Like, Prabhu, I'll give you some, out of the blue examples, out of the ordinary examples. Like Prabhupada started this Govinda's restaurant. This is such a master class now, master stroke by Prabhupada. Because Prabhu, when people become devotees, okay, so now you are telling them, okay, do not eat karmi food as far as possible. But then how to not eat? I mean, like, say somebody wants to take his family out, or somebody wants to, give some outside colleagues a party or something, or somebody just he himself has a desire. Where will the person go? Like in our Varanasi temple, the temple is under construction. So as soon as you enter, there is a small Govinda's stall, na, which is always struggling because I mean it doesn't have space and it's like so that is generally running in losses. Yeah, because like there have to be two cooks and then two people at the reception, and the items have to be like because there's no proper ambience and limited things only. So usually it doesn't make profit actually. And on the weekend only it runs, like the temple runs on weekend, but the shop has to run. So when there was a discussion among the leaders whether to stop it, what to do, many times those discussions have been there. So then in the Kartik and some other times of the year it runs in profit. Otherwise it runs in loss, always loss. So basically in the leaders in the management meeting it was decided we have to continue it. Why? Because the purpose of it was not profit. You know, purpose of it was to give an option, a positive, uh, a positive option for the congregation to be able to like get prasad somewhere, some item. Because now if that was not there, then their kids or family people have to be treated outside. So then that becomes a problem. So even if it is only for Sunday or Saturday or festivals, still it is all right, no problem. Because the principle is you want to give people an option. Similarly, like so many such things, Prabhupada started. So if you do not have those things, then how will devotees have engagement? Like Radheshampur started this voice engagement for young brahmacharis. Actually, without this, probably 50 to 75% of young brahmacharis would not have joined. Yeah. Why? Because there is engagement, not just in voice, but okay, there is a preaching engagement. Because, like, say, someone joins at the age of 25, at least for 10 years, his senses are on fire, 25 to 35, like, till the time body is young now. So, it's very important that he has solid engagement, which engages his mind, intelligence, talents, his senses, you know. So, so there are so many such. So this is what like is the is a क्या बोलेंगे? We have to curb the enemy, Prabhupada says, by superior force. So Prabhupada says if you want to get over the desire to decorate your own face, your own body, then you try to decorate Krishna's deity, Krishna's temple. Prabhupada says if you want to get over the desire to earn a lot of money for yourself, trying to compete in this material world, then you try to build a big house for Krishna, bring a lot of money for Krishna. So yesterday we heard one class by His Grace Brahma Tirtha Prabhu, the scientist disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So he was sharing so wonderful things actually, and he was sharing how those who are true scientists they can really actually use their scientific intellect if they come to Krishna consciousness. He was giving so many examples of young scientist devotees in ISKCON all over the world. So anyway, let's go ahead. या निशा सर्वभूतानां
या निशा सर्वभूतानां
यां जागर्ति संयमी
तस्यां जागृति संयमी
यस्यां जागृति भूतानि
यस्यां जागृति भूतानि
सा पश्यतो मुने.
या निशा पश्यतो मुने.
What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self control, and the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage.
Prabhupada says there are two classes of men and two classes of intelligent men. One is intelligent in material activities for sense gratification, and the other is introspective and awake to the cultivation of self-realization. Activities of the introspective sage or thoughtful man are night for persons materially absorbed. So this is the main meaning of this verse, bro, rather than the literal meaning. That what is night for one is the day for another, and what is day for one is the night for the other. Which means the activities, the desires, the aspirations of a devotee are totally 180-degree opposite from a non-devotee. Okay, that is the main thing. Like for a devotee, he doesn't find any meaning in material life. Okay. There is no satisfaction while doing it, and there is guaranteed. It is guaranteed that it won't stay. When you attain the result, because it will be gone. It's temporary. And we will be gone from our body. So the only point is in serving Krishna. So a devotee runs away from Maya, like young women, and non-devotee will find ways to, go more and more into Maya. So what is night for all beings is the time for awakening for the self-control. And literally also it is true. You can see that most of the materialists, like those who are in enjoying mode, or especially like young people, they'll sleep, they'll get up late. I mean, they'll be up till late in the night and then sleep in the morning hours. Totally, they'll be asleep. And for devotees, that is the most important time. Yeah. Okay. Text 70. Apuryamaणम् अचल प्रतिष्ठम्
आपूर्यमानामचलं प्रतिष्ठां
समुद्रमाप प्रविशन्ति यद्वत्
समुद्रमाप प्रविशन्ति यद्वत्
तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे
कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे
शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी.
स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी.
A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires, that person
A person who is not disturbed by incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires.
Yeah. You're speaking in Maika. Wow. Okay. So again, see the same thing from another angle. That a man who strives to satisfy desires in this material world, of course, so he cannot be peaceful, he cannot be satisfied. And a person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desire. So see, this desires means like the temptations which come now, every now and then to our mind and senses. Right? So the example given here is that of ocean and rivers. Although the vast ocean is always filled with water, it is always, especially during the rainy season, being filled with much more water, right? It's falling from the sky, as well as the rivers are just flowing into the ocean. So many rivers. But the ocean remains the same, steady. It is not agitated, nor does it cross beyond the limit of its brink. That is also true of a person figuring Krishna consciousness. As long as one has the material body, the demands of the body for self-gratification will continue. The devotee, however, is not disturbed by such desires because of his fullness. Very beautiful example, no? A Krishna conscious man is not in need of anything because the Lord fulfills all his material necessities. Therefore, he is like the ocean, always full in himself. Desires may come to him like the waters of the rivers that flow into the ocean. But he is steady in his activities and he is not even slightly disturbed by desires for some gratification. Why? Because he's full with Krishna. That is a proof of a Krishna conscious man, one who has lost all inclinations for materialism, although the desires are present. Okay, so that is sadhaka. Sadhaka means desires are present, but he will not act upon them. Okay, and bhava bhakta means desires themselves are gone now. Yeah. Because he remains satisfied in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he can remain steady like the ocean and therefore enjoy full peace. Others, however, who want to fulfill desires even up to the limit of liberation, what to speak of material success, never attain peace. Yeah. Okay. So, unless there is a comment or question, we go ahead. विहाय कामान्य सर्वान्
विहाय कामान् सर्वान्
पुमांश्चरति निःस्पृहः
पुमांश्चरति निःस्पृहः
निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः
निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः
शान्तिम् अधिगच्छति.
स शान्तिम् अधिगच्छति.
A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace.
Yeah. Again, the same thing, huh? In another way. Now he says who's not just free from acting on the desires, but who has given up all sense of proprietorship. Because so many problems come because of that. You mean, look, practically, though I've seen most of the life people keep fighting to attain something. Then when they will enjoy it, I don't understand. Court cases and fights within the families and all. It's very difficult to understand only actually. So it's devoid of false ego. He alone can attain real peace. To become desireless means not to desire anything for self gratification. In other words, desire for becoming Krishna conscious is actually desirelessness. To understand one's actual position as the eternal servitor of Krishna, without falsely claiming this material body to be oneself, and without falsely claiming proprietorship over anything in the world, is the perfect stage of Krishna consciousness. One who is situated in this perfect stage knows that because Krishna is the proprietor of everything, everything must be used for the satisfaction of Krishna. Arjuna did not want to fight for his own sense of satisfaction, but when he became fully Krishna conscious, he fought because Krishna wanted him to fight. For himself, there was no desire to fight. But for Krishna, the same Arjuna fought to his best ability. See, this is too good. Arjuna desired to fight, not because he had the desire to fight, but because Krishna wanted him to fight. So, real desirelessness is desire for the satisfaction of Krishna, not an artificial attempt to abolish desires. His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj never wanted to go to China, but he went because Prabhupada wanted him to go to China and preach. His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj never wanted to pick up something like a fight, like with that Mr. Nair for Juhu property for Radha Ras Bihari. But he did it because Prabhupada wanted him to do it. Otherwise, it was totally opposite to his nature. The living entity cannot be desireless or senseless, but it does have to change the quality of the desires. A materially desireless person certainly knows that everything belongs to Krishna. And therefore, he does not falsely claim proprietorship over him. Prabhupada is quoted Isha Upanishad. This transcendental knowledge is based on self-realization, namely knowing perfectly well that every living entity is an eternal part and parcel of Krishna in spiritual identity, and that the eternal position of the living entity is therefore never on the level of Krishna or greater than him. This understanding of Krishna consciousness is the basic principle of real peace, that everything belongs to Krishna, and I should just serve Krishna. This simple understanding brings so much peace. Yeah. Okay. So before we go to last verse, any comments or questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I have a question. In one of the verses, Krishna is telling that we have to engage all of our senses for attaining peace. But my question is many a times we do some spiritual activities. Let's say I'm hearing a lecture, so one of the senses is engaged, but because of the mind, it founds out some other senses sometimes eyes roams. So how to?
Yeah, Krishna says bring it back. That struggle will be there for some time, but that is why we should take responsibilities in Krishna's service. Take a purpose of life. Like many devotees take the purpose of life to assist their spiritual master or to assist some senior god brother or you know some some another Vaishnava, maybe their temple president, maybe their Shiksha Guru. So, or another thing is like purpose. Like there is this devotee, Mahotsaha Prabhu in Atlanta temple. He's an Indian only, but I think, had gone to study there and then he was working and then became devotee. He's Bhakti Vikas Maharaj disciple. So he got into book distribution. Maharaj told him. And now since like 10, 15 years or so, see, at one point of time, he said he would hardly distribute like 5, 10 books in a day. Now, Prabhu, he set a record of 5,200 books in a day alone, distributing on streets in America. 5,200, mind-boggling. That includes like 60 sets of Bhagavatam. So this is totally mind-boggling because he dedicated his mind and senses and intelligence to that seva. Okay. So even in the material world, like how do people build a startup and take it to great heights? Because they dedicate themselves to it, bro. They just worship that as their goal of life, that is their deity of life, you know. And some of them have a very noble purpose. This Ratan Tata and before that JRD Tata. So they had this purpose of supporting India, or even this BHU, what was his name? Our founder of BHU, Pandit
Madan Mohan
Madan
Malviya.
Mohan Malviya.
Madan Mohan Malviya. So मुझे वो ट्रिपल एम याद आ रहा है Madan Mohan Malviya. So he had this passion for like serving India, like in those days when it was under Britishers. Now he established it in 1915. So you can see that if somebody has a very good positive passion now, then because if the mind is engaged, then the senses are also engaged. In fact, then even while you serve Krishna through your senses, your mind will be thinking of, you know, because when the mind is engaged in Krishna's service, like for parents with little kids now, mind is hooked into their child. Amazing it is, bro. Hooked into the child actually. Like I have seen my brother, okay, my brother and his wife, who their kid has gone with the grandfather, okay, their grandfather, like with my father, the kid is outside playing or something, and these guys are thinking of the kid only. अरे वो देख लो, शायद थोड़ा बारिश आने वाला है, थोड़ा जस्ट देखो वहां पे है ना क्या कर रहा है, देखो गार्डन में तो नहीं चला गया वहां पर, अकेला तो नहीं है अभी, देखो पापा मोबाइल में तो नहीं लग गए होंगे, देखो. It's like, amazing actually it is. So you have to sell yourself a purpose of life to serve Krishna. Like I met this Prabhuji, na. what is his name? Radha Giridhari Prabhu. So he's the highest individual donor of ISKCON India. He has donated around roughly around 300 to 400 crores alone by himself in last 25 years. So because he was a brahmachari for 1 or 2 years, and then he left ISKCON Chowpatty with the desire that I want to earn money, and I want to earn money for ISKCON, for his spiritual master and ISKCON. So I think 1996 or 97 he left, and he started business for that. He said in those days he said yeah, my family needs only 8,000, 10,000 per month. That is more than sufficient, because he used to work in Infosys, and he said that that was more than sufficient. But he said that Infosys is earning so much, so why not a company for them? So then he started that company. But Maharaj told him that if you're doing it for service, then you should do 50-50. Don't do 90-10 or something. You do 50-50. So 50-50 means whatever money comes to him as personally. So that should 50 should give to Krishna. So now see, his company is now worth more than 9,000 crores actually. Actually, 2 years back when I talked to him for half an hour personally in my work. So he was telling me that anybody does with absolute purpose of serving Krishna or Vaishnavas, I can assure you his company will grow, his consciousness will also grow. And he said, I wanted to do it, and then Maharaj told me 50-50. But he said, I don't know how the company is growing so much, because Krishna is the partner, 50% partner. Bhakti Charu Maharaj told him, see, Krishna is also the partner of the company, and he will make the company grow. You work, and Krishna will work in a subtle way. So see, the point is, we have to give ourselves a noble purpose, very, very noble purpose. Then the default home of mind should shift to that. Like if you ask many of our leaders in Varanasi, and especially in Varanasi right now, so the only thing everybody is thinking about is how to bring up the new temple. If you go and ask our Ram Keshwar Prabhu, our Dhaval Prabhu, the only thing they can think of is new temple. I mean, including me. One of the prominent things, is in mind every day. So similarly, I have other purposes also. 2-3 years back, I had this purpose of changing or introducing some very positive things in our NIDC, it's called North India Division. So then I tried to introduce many concepts, many new things, new cultures, awards, awarding the devotees. So instead of competing, there can be positive things devotees aspire for. So many such things we try to introduce. Now also today we have a meeting 10:30 to 12, so I have to prepare for that. So now as a chairman for NIDC, I have many positive purposes in my mind. So then negative things become less destructive. Similarly, IYC. So I have to get all the leaders together in North India and coordinate with the whole national team. So we have to give positive engagements like this to our mind. Purposes, not just pick up this bucket and keep it there. That is an engagement, but that is just for few minutes, just physical engagement. We have to give mental engagements. Mental engagement is there is no limit to okay, you're caring for a devotee, or you're thinking of training the devotees. Right? You have to give courses, so you have to prepare, right? So this preparation means there is no fixed domain into it. You can, sky is the limit. How well can you prepare? How deeply can you prepare? And then, so you make some PPTs or something. Similarly, you care for devotees, okay? Or you have to establish a center. So then, therefore, you have to take a goal, actually. You have to live for a purpose. If you live for a purpose, then your dreams will be yours. like that. Okay, I have to, like, I'll not tell name, but there used to be one devotee. Now he's serving in another temple because that time I was preaching for another temple. So he used to always tell me, Prabhu, my dream is that I bring so many devotees and resources to the temple that you should only worry about how to engage them, not how to bring. Whatever is needed, more than that, we should be able to bring. And it's going wonderful actually. So we have to give ourselves such purposes now. Okay. Or like propagating, simply teaching Krishna consciousness. So propagating Krishna consciousness or making courses. So some devotees are writing books, compiling. It's a brilliant seva actually. So any such thing uh, which can absorb us. Okay, bro.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Prabhupada gave his disciples such dreams actually. Prabhupada was the best marketing agent. He sold dreams. We are in the business of selling dreams. So Bhakti Charu Maharaj would say that, like that Abhay Charan serial series he made, or Radhanath Maharaj has now this GEV. So he was dreaming of making GEV since 1971. So 1972 or 3 when Prabhupada was in New Vrindavan and Prabhupada told them, I want a place like this and I want the DT Seva like this. I want the replica of Vrindavan and huge place and this and that. Now you see, Radhanath Maharaj told one devotee that he had been carrying this dream in his heart since like 30, 40 years. And then after 30 years, he got the disciples and that much money. Now see, more than 200 acres GV. I mean, what we see is the 100 acres. They've taken another 100 acres across the road near the river. And there they're making new Navadvip. Just like this is Vrindavan replica, that will Navadvip replica. There's Ganges also. This side there is Govardhan. So you see, you have to, unless we carry such dreams, we will get material dreams. Then, but when we have such projects, dreams, then we think of those things actually. Gopi Paranjan Prabhupada disciple, Prabhupada sold him the dream of, uh, explaining his books properly to all the scholarly devotees. So Prabhupada sold so many dreams to so many people actually, so many devotees, like Ambarish Prabhu, Ford wala Ambarish Prabhu, na? Alfred Ford. So since his young days, he has been living till now. Now he's quite old. He says that he had been living to make this TOAP, this 800 crore or whatever crore project. And he said, I could have myself also made it completely just by giving whatever I have, everything I could have given to you. But he said that Prabhupada told me, you give a lot, but you engage other people also a lot. So he does like, I think 50% he gives and 50%, but then now you see it's about to be completed. So for him, the dream of life. So then that's how we remain ever fresh, Prabhu. His one is Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Prabhupada gave him 3 dreams. You know that. Distribute as many books as possible. Second, to construct temples, in India and in Delhi, especially in Delhi, NCR area. So his disciples have made more than 15 temples. And then if you include centers, I'm sure Delhi has more than 150 centers. I think so. At least more than 100, no doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt. Then, uh, then third, Prabhupada told him to manage India. So he was into that management, till his last breath. In fact, just few hours before he actually left his body, he was in a management meeting at that age. So, so you can see, bro, these guys lived for the dreams which Prabhupada sold them, and expanded those dreams actually. So that's what we have to do actually. Uh, we have to live for some purpose, and that purpose may look very small, bro. It may look like, ठीक है कुछ सेवा दिया है, but actually it depends on the service attitude of that devotee. He expands it. It begins enter like a needle, come out like a plow, right? Big one. Think big. Yeah. So even study of the scriptures also, so that we can, some of us can become authority, bona fide authorities in the scriptures. Yeah. So you can see there are devotees like that. Like we have Kanai Krishna Prabhu, Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. They've dedicated their life to that dream of, they've dedicated their life to that purpose of studying, assimilating, and teaching, scriptures so clearly. I hear this classes of Balaram Shakti Prabhu. He's little less known, but one of the best humble devotee scholars in ISKCON actually. Excellent, super excellent. He became devotee in University of Pennsylvania, where he was doing his MS. Like it is close to Gita Nagari, Bhakti Tirth Maharaj's place. Of course, then he later on joined Chowpatty Temple. So he's an Indian only. So yeah, very thorough person. So there are, so many things that like we can do in that sense. There are devotees who have dedicated their life to kids and teenage people preaching. There are devotees like this one devotee, Vaman Dev Prabhu. So he's literally like his name only. He's in Delhi. He's a brahmachari. So he looks like normal guy only, but he does very big things. It's like when Vaman Dev actually takes steps, becomes very big. वो दिल्ली में आपने सुना होगा ना कभी बिग बिग फेस्टिवल्स लाइक स्टेडियम में हो रहा है बिग यूथ फेस्टिवल ये लोग छोटा सोचते ही नहीं है मतलब और ये सब मैनेज और प्लान कौन करता है यही करता है वामन देव हाउ ही डज ह्यूमंगस प्रो इट टेक्स सो मच एनर्जी एक्चुअली बट दिस गाय एक्चुअली सुंदर गोपाल प्रभु जस्ट टेल्स हिम कि ना प्रभु ये करना है बस वो पूरा सोचने में लग जाता है ही थिंक्स ही प्लान्स he executes he builds the team he follows up he monitors amazing actually. So Sundar Gopal will just tells him that Prabhu, and he has that Prabhu ji ne kaha hai. Amazing actually. So he uses that enterprising ability to do very big things, very big things. Similarly, this Dwarka temple president, what is his name? Pradyumna Priya Prabhu. So he has a very good business actually. I think his business must be like at least 150 crore plus minimum. So he has good contacts because of his business. So he had one business vendor through whom he got in touch with Adani company. And since last few years, seen Prayagraj Kumbh Mela, he only got that all money to distribute prasad to lakhs of people, millions of people. So he had got 16 crore. What is gone? Yeah, otherwise that level of prasad distribution. Of course, I'm sure he must have saved some few crores for Dwarka temple. Full to nobody spends. Because we don't have to pay salary to our people and we get some things in less. Similarly in Jagannath Puri, so for prasad distribution he got I think 6 or 8 crores from this Jindal Steels. So he's a very smart guy actually. Like he is always working with many business people. Otherwise, Dwarka type of temple, like Dwarka temple itself is 125, 175 crore rupees temple. Half of that money other devotees are raising, like Amok Leela Prabhu and those 5-6 preachers. You must have seen ads also on YouTube and all. And half of that money alone this Pradyumna Priya Prabhu is raising. Brilliant actually. In COVID also he did so much for ISKCON became very famous because of the kind of services he organized. So, bro, there are many hidden devotees like that actually, running farm communities. I can tell you so much about it actually. Farm community. Some devotees are in the field of Shastric education. Like I know that field more little bit. Then management. There are devotees doing management seva, bro. These people are least visible, but they are so like we have His Grace Revatipati Prabhu in Pune. So actually, Revatipati Prabhu, uh, excellent Vaishnava, and he saw that there is a need. Like when the temple and community expands a lot, so there are brahmacharis, there are senior brahmacharis, there are congregation devotees, there are youths. And Radheshambru is not a person. Radheshambru is good for education and training. Absolutely not at all good for management. You know? तो तो क्या होता है कि it becomes very difficult actually. So Revatipati Prabhu saw that need that, and then he became, you know, like uh, so he keeps people together and happy. There's such a big congregation also, the leaders, and it's not easy to handle because people have opinions and all this, you know. Things look peaceful from outside, but somebody has to make it peaceful, right, from inside. So he does that very brilliantly. That that things should go on. Management means like everything should go on in time. Somebody should be able to foresee. Oh, after 6 months we may need this. After 1 year, 5 year we may need this. You know, somebody should be able to recognize uh, people's pain without them saying it. Like congregation Matajis are coming to temple from long distance, so they need certain facility. Okay, identify that and do it. Then brahmacharis, for them it's home. So when there is events or big festivals, they cannot take prasad with everyone in common. So there should be another facility for them. They should be able to have peaceful rest, even though some event may be going on. So there is, similarly like managing money. So there are devotees, Jayadev Prabhu, Rasparan Prabhu, who took that responsibility. Or Sri Guru Chandru built the temple, planned it in such a way that money flow should always be there, even in future, even if donations don't come. So like that, there are so many devotees who are required to think ahead. See, one level of engagement is okay, I am just doing this service. That is good. I'm steadily doing this service. I will always be here doing the Pujari Seva. I will always be here distributing Charanamrit. Or I'll always be sitting in this office, and that is also very good. Somebody may be taking care of donors, like Nitya Seva donors or something. So there's a steady service. And there is another service which is like one is thinking of how to solve this, how to address this need, how to create a system, you know, to address this need or to solve this problem or this challenge for the temple or for ISKCON. There are so many devotees. Like we have Dayaram Prabhu who has been fighting the court cases. So many court cases for ISKCON. Now this Patna people now posting so many negative videos, so much the drama. So Dayaram Prabhu, Anand Tirth Prabhu, they have been doing all that. Anand Tirth Prabhu has been taking care of BBT. So since so many years, BBT is so smoothly running. Such a huge company, if you say in that way. And BBT a balance sheet now. 31st March, the financial year ends. By 2nd or 3rd April, he submits the balance sheet. Practically, people are not able to submit their individual tax returns by 2nd or 3rd April. His BBT is a company, you can imagine, Prabhu, like 100 crores or 150 crores plus company, okay. Because so many temples are taking all the books, right? You just imagine क्या turnover होगा उस company का, क्या management होगा, warehouses, printings, and so many things, and he's managed it so well. Systems are so good because many years back he saw that systems are not there, like, but BBT has one of the most impeccable systems. उनका ऐप भी है ना, ये एक क्या नाम है उस ऐप का, बहुत अच्छा ऐप है एक्चुअली,
Transcend.
Transcend बहुत. So yes, many features in that. So actually, devotees have to Like think like that. See, Gaurang Prabhu, he conceptualized this GBC college for training the young, because he saw that the older leaders are not trained actually, and that gives so many problems. So then he conceptualized and established also GBC college. Identified experts from different fields, brought them together, made a system, and every year he brings a lot of money to run the GBC college. Now I am also studying now in GBC college since last November. And our graduation is in March, February or March next year. 1.5 year. And it's very nice actually. Such nice coverage of topics and classes. This is so good. So there are devotees, Prabhu, who are silently working with responsibility, with intelligence, absorbed. And that is why this movement has been running. Any temple you see now, if it is running, any ashram is running, there will be so many people you can bow down to. One who would have brought that land to ISKCON, either by purchasing or by getting donations from government or whatever. It's not easy. Somebody would have taken care of construction. It's not just by money you can do construction. Somebody has to plan it well. Somebody has to. I would have myself spent, Prabhu, at least 500 hours. At least 500 hours. Hours, I am saying, like not days. In one day, what you can spend 2-3 hours, na? Minimum 500 bol raha, maybe 1,000 plus, just for our Varanasi and Prayagraj temple with architect. I'm saying just planning. कौन सी wall कहाँ होगी? In the entire huge campus, every wall, every door, everything is planned. Nothing goes like you know unplanned. So you have to foresee. You have to. So many other factors come up. Sometimes you cannot do certain things. So every temple, similarly, we may think that prasad is running easily. No, if a ashram is running in any temple, somebody is maintaining those brahmacharis, spiritually keeping them enlivened. It is not easy. It is not easy at all. It is like taking care of a huge family. There are bills to be paid. There are people need spiritual inspiration. People need care. Similarly, if kitchen is running, in our temples only kitchen are running, there are devotees raising funds for that. There are devotees maintaining cooks. Cooks को maintain करना easy थोड़े ना, बहुत difficult है, बहुत difficult है. So deity worship is another thing. In any temple, if deity worship is going on steadily, that means you can bow down 100 times to head pujari and other pujaris. It's not easy because deity worship accounts kitchen. Very nobody thanks in general. People think, but these people have to 6 times in a day. Things have to run on time, and there has to be output. Right? Kitchen also, not just 3 times. Like there is sometimes some program prasad, some food for life prasad. Oh my God. And DT, so definitely Aarati, book offering. It's not easy when there is winter, when there is summer, when there is heavy rains. You still have to go and do the right thing at the right time. So that is why Prabhupada becomes so grateful to anyone who takes responsibility. Anyone, you know. So if we take responsibility of something in material world, fine, we get something material out of it. When we take responsibility, when spiritually for our acharya, the reciprocation is also spiritual, na? Definitely. So anyway, I think it gives a lot of answer. I don't even remember now the question. Yeah, because there's a lot of appreciation for all this. Yesterday, this Brahma Tirth Prabhu, he was sharing. I asked him a question in our GBC college class, and he loved the question. I was asking Prabhuji, you're so old now, you're like 80 plus, and you're showing us some of the photos and incidents with Prabhupada, with these scientist devotees. He said when this 5 scientist devotees like Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj and he and some others, said when they went to Vrindavan with Prabhupada, so Prabhupada asked them, you wear shirt, pant, tie, coat suit, like in Vrindavan, and he showed us photos of all of them having bead bag and tilak, but being in like formal dress. Okay. And he said, Prabhupada was so proud of us. Look at my scientist disciples. Prabhupada said, this is your dress, not the big one. Because Prabhupada said, world will salute this. And Prabhupada was so proud of them actually. He was sharing, so proud of them. And he said that in those days, most other devotees would look down upon us because most other devotees would, drop out of colleges and join. Like that was the trend. But Prabhupada didn't want that. Prabhupada wanted the devotees to actually do well, in the college and maybe do something outside. If they're well educated, it's very good. So so yeah, some of them are also dedicated, like full-time devotees. So Prabhupada was very happy with them. Then I asked him that Prabhuji, then what about the next generation? Like, are there any future successors for all of you? Because what about like you guys have to train, na? Because you were trained directly by Prabhupada. So then he was telling, yeah, some next generation is coming up. And then he was telling that the only way I can die in peace is when I see that there are some devotees, young devotees who are responsible and spirited to take forward the legacy of Srila Prabhupada. And that is the day I will die in peace. I was so happy actually. See, this is our uh, this is our asset, bro. This is our property in ISKCON. We have such hearts. People want to die. I mean, people don't want to die, and people think before death I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to show him this, I have to. And what is our like Loknath Maharaj was telling in one of the youth gatherings of youth preachers, he was so happy. He was just telling that, you know, since last 50 years, we all have been in anxiety that who will take care of Prabhupada's mission after us. And he said, you can understand because we value this mission so much. We built it together with Srila Prabhupada. And he said that because Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya are concerned about it, so we are concerned about it. And he said, so seeing the preaching expanding and young devotees coming up, joining full time, taking responsibilities, we feel so happy. He said we are indebted to all of it. Actually, I don't know how they feel like that. We have to feel the opposite way. But this is so nice actually. And then I was asking him, Prabhuji, are you writing any book? Because Prabhupada, you have all those incidents with Prabhupada, you should write. He said, yeah, devotees have told me I am also thinking to write a book. I said, you should write, just like Krishna's Kaviraj Swami. He was also 80 plus. He was 92 in fact. And he was asked by devotees at Radha Kund that if you do not write, then people will not get the first-hand account of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes and teachings. I told similarly, Prabhuji, some of you have those first-hand experiences with Prabhupada, but if you do not write, then how will the devotees in the next generation? They'll never have access to the first-hand training and teachings of Prabhupada in this direction. So see, we have to give our heart actually, honestly speaking. If we give our heart now to Krishna, as Prabhupada was writing in one of the purports that if we are convinced, if the person is convinced that Krishna is the proprietor, Krishna is the controller, and Krishna is my most well-wishing friend, then that's it, Prabhu. Then he'll not be disturbed by Samadra Mahapa Pravishanti Tadvat Kama. He'll not be disturbed by incessant flow of rivers like desires in the mind. And he can give his heart. Giving heart means then giving mind and giving uh, senses, giving intelligence, everything. You know that verse in the Gita. How does that verse begin? Indriyabhya param mana. How does that begin? Remember? Indriyabhya param mana.
Indriyani prana.
हाँ इंद्रियाणि paranya. Yeah, I got it. This verse is so nice actually. It gives that clarity. So this is 342. Indriyani paranya or indriyabhya param mana. Manasastu parabuddhir yo buddhe paratastu sa. So it says the working senses are superior to dull matter. So why? Because say if some mud is lying, so you can use your senses, like hands, to shape the mud. So you can manipulate the dull matter using your senses, right? Therefore, senses are superior. Then, mind is higher than the senses. Why? Because you can change the direction of your senses by your mind. Therefore, mind is more powerful than the senses. Then, intelligence is still higher than the mind. Why? Because your mind may get attracted to some temptation, but your intelligence may say, "No, this is not good for you. Don't do it." So then you will resist, right? And then the soul is even higher than that. What is the meaning of soul? Like basically our ego, our identity, or our heart. If we give our heart to someone, or if our identity is very clear that I am Krishna's servant, that's it. Then even intelligence will follow the heart. So if we can give our heart, our identity to Krishna, we'll never think of anything else. Because then our intelligence also will be aligned to the heart. Then mind will be aligned to the intelligence. And then senses will be aligned to the mind. And then whatever we do in this material world will be for Krishna. So therefore, best is we give our heart to Krishna and Vaishnava and Prabhupada. But we can also work on the intelligence. That is why we say, we have to hear every day. Intelligence should be convinced. And mind also, by absorbing our mind in Kirtan. But nothing like giving heart. Like Krishna also says, Man mana bhava mad bhakta. He doesn't say, hath or pair. He says, because Krishna knows, mind mango, minimum to mind mango, intelligence mango. Krishna says, if you study the Bhagavad Gita, you are worshipping me with your intelligence, right? And then Krishna says, just surrender unto me. Just follow me. Do it for me. Basically, he's asking for heart. Because Krishna knows then other things. And see, our money and talents are even below our working senses. Money to kya hai? Resource hai. So if someone gives heart, he'll give everything, easily. Malay, he doesn't even have to endeavor actually. So very nice, na bro? Yeah. Okay, I'll just cover the last verse because already it's 8 o'clock. Our time is over. Just quickly, I'll cover the last verse. Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha
एषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ
Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati
नैनां प्राप्याभिमन्यते
Tvasyamant Kalepi
स्थित्वा भासम् अन्तकालेऽपि
Nirvanam Rachati.
ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं गच्छति.
That is the way of spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God.
Yeah. So see, if we engage our senses and mind in Krishna's service, that is a way of spiritual and godly life. After attaining which a man is not bewildered. And if one is thus situated even at the hour of death, which means always engaged, Satata Yuktana, one can enter into the kingdom of God. What a guarantee. See, this is Acharya. Acharya has brought Krishna's teachings to such a ground level that just engage yourself in Krishna's service. And I am guaranteeing you will go back to God throughout your life, for the rest of your life. अभी कितना अपना like 60, 70 years of age, 50 years more for anybody average among us. 50 years, it's not a big deal. 50 years and make sure that you are engaged. Such a easy thing, right? It's just a matter of choice we make. So, okay, so thus end the Bhakti and the Purport to the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam and the matter of its contents. Thank you very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंद.
Hare Krishna. So I'd like to thank Prabhuji. He gave very wonderful class on how to engage ourselves with some purpose and also taking responsibility in Krishna consciousness. So I'd like to thank Prabhuji by one time loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Thank you. Hari Bol.